Okay, so breaking news. Is it time to start worrying about Toronto's goaltending?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, don't you think?
I think you should expand.
Well, I mean, Jack Campbell was a Vezina Trophy finalist for his first 20 starts.
Correct.
Maybe the guy who would win if you were picking it early on.
Yep.
His last 17 starts, save percentage has been .894.
Yeah.
He hasn't been good. He hasn't been good lately.
Yeah.
Like last night against Columbus, they need a save, and he couldn't give him one.
Right.
And I realized that in overtime, you got Patrick Laine in a pretty decent scoring area, which is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, that's
for
not
any
going to
goalie.
be very helpful for you.
But right over the glove, he made himself small. I mean, and to your point about Austin Matthews' defensive play, he left a gap like there was no tomorrow. Right. On Patrick Laine. You have to realize that that's Patrick Laine that has the puck in the middle of the ice in the high slot. You've got to close that gap. But to me, what would worry me about Jack Campbell is, first of all, because Toronto.
Right.
Because Toronto.
Ew.
And secondly, I mean, the guy is so hard on himself. Like, he just gets really, really down on himself when he feels like he's let the team down. And
he does, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's really hard on himself. And I don't know that that's good for his long-term
viability.
Yeah. And like, I mean, what if he's not what he was the first half of the season? What if he's just Jack Campbell and this is what he is? Like, what a spot to be in. Like, you were all, beginning of the year, everybody's like, how are they going to re-sign Jack Campbell? Well, they're going to have to break the bank and they're going to have to sign him to this long-term deal and everything. And now it's like, is this guy even the answer? Like, yeah. I mean, almost everybody's guessing about goaltending most of the time.
True.
Unless you have, Andrei Vasilevsky or, at Carey Price at his prime, then Tuukka Rask. I mean, Boston didn't have to worry about goaltending for 10 years. Yeah. Because they had Tuukka Rask. Yeah. Right. But that seems to be a smaller exception to the rule. Most people are just guessing about goaltending. And I don't know. Like, what if he's not? What if he's not? What if he's just Jack Campbell, the guy who is okay and really good sometimes, but can really fall apart at times? I
was just looking over the list for the last 10 games for goals saved above expected, which I know you love. Mm-hmm. And Jack Campbell is number 61 in the league.
Wow.
For the last 10 games.
So just expect him to save fewer goals. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, for Jack, apparently you should.
Just go, we expect you to save this many. You're not saving them. Yeah. So we're not going to expect you to save as many. That's sort of where I'm going.
I hear you, but...
He's 61st?
61st.
In the whole league?
The whole league.
Wow. How about among starters? He's probably like right down there, right?
I mean, that would put him right down there.
Yeah.
Right, if I were to take the top 32 goalies. But my point is that you're right. It's been exceptionally bad. The problem is, I don't see an option. Anton Khudobin is on the trade bait list for TSN, and he had a good playoff run 2 years ago. He had an excellent playoff run 2 years ago.
Oh, with Dallas, he was outstanding.
Yeah. He's a goalie that I like a lot. Peter Mrazek, to your point about Jack Campbell against the Blues, Peter Mrazek didn't exactly look great against the Habs.
Detroit, when he was in Detroit, they had a nickname for him.
What's that?
Peter Erratic. That's what they called him in Detroit.
Oh, that's perfect.
Not his teammates, but
no,
more of the upper management types.
No, that's a perfect nickname for him.
Yeah.
But he like, let's put it this way. How many times have the Habs put up 5 goals in a game this year?
Yeah.
It's that's not a good look for you, right?
Nope.
So I don't know that it's time to start worrying about goaltending. I hear you on the psychological side of things.
Especially when you had Freddie Anderson, who you couldn't count on in the playoffs for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, there's nothing that can submarine a team's Stanley Cup hopes like subpar goaltending. Like, it can just wreck you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You're absolutely correct. Jack Campbell is a guy whose fundamental positioning is very sound for the most part. He's a little bit older school in the sense that he doesn't just drop and block. He uses different save selections, but for the most part, I don't care how you stop the puck, but the one thing that never goes out of style is being in the right place to stop the puck, right? And so the fact is that a lot of pucks that I've seen him not stop, and now I haven't seen every game, they go through him.
Right. That's not good, is it?
In theory, that's the most fixable problem.
Really?
In theory.
Okay, yeah.
In practice, I've seen crazy stuff trying to fix it, right? Stefan Waite had Carey Price have two blockers, one on either hand, and a stick held in between them. And he was doing all of his moves with these two blockers that were supposed to hold his elbows in for his movements because his elbows were spreading out and creating holes.
7-hole, yeah.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so in theory, if you're there, you should be able to have a good chance at stopping it. So it's bizarre to see these pucks going through him. And to your point, it makes it seem like it's psychological. Now, here's the problem. I believe Toronto tried to hire Dusty Emu as a goalie coach.
Yeah, they did. They did. Right. It turned out some of his social media things I think were
liked a lot of the insurrection stuff in the States.
Right. And so that was that
which is not ideal.
That submarined him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But ultimately Dusty Emu is the one who reclaimed Jack Campbell's career.
Well, I also think Bill Ranford had a lot to do with that too.
Right. But I think from the psychological side.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because the first part for Jack Campbell was getting him to believe in himself again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you got to find somebody like that then.
Well,
if it's not him, you got to find someone like him.
But I mean, you look and the guy's, Jack Campbell's 29.
Yeah.
He had his 100th NHL start this year.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of starts for a guy who's been around that long.
Yeah. If he was Koskinen, he would have gotten a long-term contract by now.
I'd be nervous. I would be nervous if I were Toronto.
I would be nervous, but I mean, that being said, like, this is the thing, right? Is that every goalie stumbles. Now, when Lundqvist was on the Rangers, almost every year there was is there a goalie controversy in New York?
Yeah.
Right? Almost every year his backup pushed him at one point or another, but it always came back to Hank right up until the day that it didn't, but he was like 38 at that point, right? So goalies stumble. It's not an uncommon thing. And I guess now we'll just see who Jack is.
Yeah, goalies stumble, but this is like bordering on faceplant.
But Carey Price was face planting all last year.
Yeah.
He was a way below league average goalie last year in the regular season.
Yeah, but he's Carey Price.
Right, exactly. And so, yes, with Henrik Lundqvist, that was my point with Lundqvist as well, but I'm tired of using Habs analogies.
Right.
So that's my point with Henrik Lundqvist is that, yes, you can draw off of the fact that you know that he's Hank. Well, you know that Price is Price.
I'm even going to go back way further to the 40s. To the 40s.
Yeah. When you were a young man of 38?
Don't do that. Does that make you feel like a big man when you say stuff like that? No. Or okay. Ageism. No. See, because I've read about hockey history a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But
I see.
There was Bill Durnan.
Yeah.
And there was Turk Broda. The two preeminent goalies in the NHL.
Yeah.
Bill Durnan won the Vezina every year.
Yeah.
And Turk Broda won all the Stanley Cups.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like Broda, he'd come into camp and, Conn Smythe would always be pissed off at him because he was fat and out of shape and stuff. And and then in the playoffs, he'd be lights out, right?
Round into form.
Bill Durnan was the other way around.
Yeah.
He was amazing, ambidextrous, could catch with either hand.
Right. Yeah.
And was great in the regular season, but then, would kind of come up lame not lame, but a little short in the playoffs. So, yeah. So to your point, I mean, yeah. Maybe when they drop the puck for real on May 1st or whenever the playoffs start this year.
Yeah.
Maybe Jack Campbell transforms, but we don't have any evidence to support that because there's no body of work. There's no body of work.
I guess my bottom line would be to say here, yes, you should be worried about goaltending. If you're a Leafs fan, you should. 100% at this point. But there are no better options out there because Braden Holtby is almost as bad as him in goals saved above expected at 5 versus 5.
Oh, yeah.
And Craig Anderson, same thing. Anton Khudobin, same thing. None of these guys are looking particularly good in the last 10 games.
What about Marc-Andre Fleury, though? What about him?
Yeah, it's a big price tag.
What about Yaroslav Halak?
So the Leafs are going to trade for JT Miller, Marc-Andre Fleury.
But maybe a pivot. And you say, well, we need, I mean, to your point, right? You're like, well, if you've identified that this group is a special group that has the potential to really go deep in the playoffs and win a Stanley Cup, then why don't you do it?
Yeah. Marc-Andre Fleury is looking fine, just slightly above league average. So maybe, he's got a history of making mistakes in the playoffs as well.
Yes.
Right. And it's not just Montreal, Montreal, Vegas.
Yeah.
This goes back to his Pittsburgh days.
Well, it goes back to the World Juniors.
Yeah, that's right.
Gold medal game of the World Juniors.
Yeah, that's right.
Bonks it off of Braden Coburn's back. But clearing attempt and they end up scoring and lose the game.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Marc-Andre. We're going to trade for you, but come playoff time, we're sticking bungee cords on the back of your pants and sticking them next to the crossbar.
That was a turning point in the series.
Yeah.
Last year. That was a turning point.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that it's no coincidence that that Pittsburgh came up short for the Stanley Cup so many times until Matt Murray was playing for them.
Well, yeah, but the second Stanley Cup in 2017.
Yeah.
They were both instrumental.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fleury got them through the first half of the playoffs and Matt Murray got them through the second half of the playoffs.
Right.
And without both of those guys, like in fact, I actually emailed the league because I was voting. No, I did. I emailed the league because I was one of the voters for the Conn Smythe. And I said, is there any way I can make a dual ballot? Like they share it?
Right.
And the league was like, no.
Because goalies used to share the Vezina.
Well,
the Vezina used to be assigned to the team with the best.
Right, but you had to play a certain number of games.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and that's the way they do it with the Jennings now, right?
Right, yeah.
Like you have to play a certain number of games.
Yeah.
But like I was like in 2017, I was like, I think these guys together have been the most valuable player.
Yeah.
Because Matt Murray got hurt at the beginning of the playoffs and Marc-Andre Fleury was lights out for 2 rounds. And then he faltered and then Matt Murray jumped in